Hello there, welcome into the latest edition of the SAU Softball Coaches Show. I'm Daniel Gallegos, joined alongside head softball coach Jason Anderson. And Coach, you've been a busy man these last couple of days trying to kind of wheel and deal and get around some of the weather issues that we've got, but we'll get to that here momentarily. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about last weekend. You went to another regionally renowned tournament. This one was the 8-State Classic hosted by UAM, but up in Bentonville. But really it was a chance to play some good competition in region. Your team only got in 4 out of the 6 games. Sunday was a wash for everybody. They just canceled it because of weather concerns and travel. But out of those 4 games, 3 and 1, you dropped your first game, then wind up winning the next 3. And kind of in those 3, your offense really got rolling there, and you got some good pitching as well.
Oh yeah, we did. In that first game to Northwest Missouri that we dropped, it was put us out of our element a little bit. It was really cold. I want to say 25, 26 degrees, and we got up there at 7 a.m. So it was, you know, we just never really got warmed up. And not making excuses. That was it. They came out and hit the ball early. It was their first game of the year, and they got on us and scored early, and we could never bridge the gap. So we did bounce back very well by beating Lindenwood, Truman State, and then, of course, Missouri Western, which are Truman State's a region team last year that made to their regional final. Of course, we got beat out by Missouri Western last year's regional in our regional tournament. So those were big wins for us, and the offense definitely showed up. We of course got out there and started getting the ball to carry a little more, and started getting the line drives to find the gaps, and we were able to throw up a lot of runs, and that really helped in the long run.
You know, one of the hitters in particular had a really good week. Ashton Atwell, she's a junior transfer here, an outstanding hitter by all accounts, looking at her early season numbers. Talk a little bit about her. You've plugged her right into the middle of the lineup, and so what she's meant to the lineup particularly that weekend.
Well, Ashton has done a great job for us, and we knew in the fall, even from seeing and watching her in our fall games, that she had the power. And then you can look at her junior college numbers. I mean, she hit home runs in junior college too. So this is not a new thing for Ashton. We knew that she was a really good hitter, and we knew that we really expected her to do very well in the middle of our lineup. She's hitting that 3-4 spot all year, and actually had a great weekend. Got hot, and the good thing about Ashton is her balls that she's hitting, they're line drives, and so, you know, when line drives are going out of the park, you know you're putting good swings on them. They're not wind-aided, they're not pop-ups, and I mean, they're hard-hit balls. And so she was able to hit 4 home runs this weekend. I think batted .600 on the weekend, had several doubles, several RBIs, and was a big reason that we scored so many runs. And but no surprise with Ashton. Like you said, of course, I knew her when she was at Butler the last couple years, and she was always a big hitter for them as well. So she's really done well, and we expect big things out of her.
Now, switching over to the other side of the game, in the circle, it's you know, maybe an area that, you know, you're still looking for consistency to get those quality outings each and every time. But a pitcher who stood out this past weekend was Miranda Cuff. She went out in her 2 starts, complete games, got the win in each of them. Talk about her as, you know, she was the lone returner from the pitching staff from last year, but what she did particularly this weekend.
Well, we talked before about Cuff. I've really, with working with Coach Woodham, I really think she's come a long way this fall and this spring. And she had some rough outings early, and it's kind of expected. You know, you want them to come out just blazing, but there's always some things you got to work through. And I think she was able to put it all together this weekend against some pretty good teams, and one of those being Missouri Western. So she was around the zone. She hit her spots well. Her stuff was working, and didn't get in a whole lot of trouble. So that was definitely exciting for our team, because we need her to do well. We need all our pitchers to do well if we're going to be successful. And I feel like we have a good staff. I feel like everybody's kind of contributing, and we're still trying to find as a coaching staff who complements who. But it's one of those things where it's going to start in the circle, and we need everybody to do well. But Miranda had a great weekend for us.
Now, looking ahead, talked at the beginning of this show about, you know, you being a busy man the last couple of days, trying to wheel and deal. The weather forecast in Magnolia, miserable this weekend. Wouldn't be any chance to play, and so going into conference play, obviously starting off, Northwestern Oklahoma is that team first up, and it's a team you're obviously familiar with, coming from Northwestern from last year. So a lot of the same players there you coached last year, and everything else. Familiarity is there, but you know, maybe some coaches might look at that and, well, the weather's not gonna be so great at home. We'll go ahead and cancel. But that's not the approach you took.
Not at all.
Now we're going to Rockwall, Texas, to play Rockwall High School. So moving the whole 4-game series there to get the games in. So talk about just why doing that, why go into all the trouble and doing that, and then what you expect out of the series.
Well, Northwestern's a good team. Obviously, you're right. I'm definitely familiar with them. They have good players, and they have good pitchers, and they're going to be a tough opponent for us. But we need to play games. I've got some really good seniors on this team that this is their last go at it, so we want them to get games, and we need to play. I'm a strong believer that everybody needs to play everybody. For conference games, you need to get in every game if possible. If that means moving it to Rockwall, Texas to get them in, then you need to move them. And I think there's some other teams in our conference that are doing the same thing. I believe UAM's going to SAU now to get games in, and I like that. I think as coaches, top to bottom, that we should all have that mentality, and if we do, it'll make the conference season a lot more competitive, and you'll get to see everybody, and it actually makes for a good season. So you're right, we got to go over there and play Northwestern, and they're going to be a tough 4 games for us. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. I think they're going to be coming ready to play just like we are, and it's going to be good. I like our chances to do well if we show up and play, and I think they're going to be some hard-fought games, and 4-game series. So and kicking off the GAC season, so we'll see what we can do.
We appreciate it very much for your time. Again, that's head softball coach Jason Anderson. He and his Lady Mule Riders were scheduled to open up at home against Northwestern Oklahoma for a 4-game series, but as we just talked about, it has since been moved to Rockwall, Texas, going to be played at Rockwall High School. Be sure to check MuleRiderAthletics.com. There's information about it being moved. There's also going to be admission charge, $5 for adults, $3 for students for that series. There's the address for it, there's maps and everything else, so you know, if you're from the Texas area or whatever, you just want to go out and see some Mule Rider softball, all the information you'll need is there. And Coach, best of luck, and we look forward to it.
Thank you.